We'll start with a nice quote. What is today's quote? Given by Mahatma Gandhi. You must be the change you wish to see in the world. First you change, then the world will change. You try to be the change, then everything will change. It's a very useful quote. And today's paper is a very good paper, a tough paper rather. The first 5 questions, 10 questions deal with the passage. If there is something easy in this paper, that is passage. That's what I feel. Passage you should get 8 plus, should not be a problem. Then paragraph related questions, contextual awareness is very important. You got to know the context, one thing. You got to read very fast, another thing. And when you read the sentences, you should understand what is the main idea, what is it about. The keywords, once you grasp the keywords, then you get the right option. But still, all said and done, of the 5 questions, you should get 3 easily, 2 rather difficult. Then close test is really difficult. What is the reason? 2 reasons. One reason, the instructions, if you read the instructions, you come across something like you decide whether the given option is right or wrong. If it is not right, go for the options. But do you see anything after the blank? So don't consider the instructions. Based on the blank, you have to take. But how are they difficult? Why is it difficult? Here you don't see words. You see what? Either words or phrases or clauses. Not easy. And the context is very difficult to comprehend. Some of the words I can tell with a lot of conviction. Those are good at English also. They have to refer the dictionary. Not easy to make out. Not regular words. Some of those words are very vague and very difficult to guess the meaning from the context as well. But still, out of 10, you should get 6 or 7. That's not a problem. Overall, I feel if you are really good at reading and you are a regular reader, fast reader, you should get between 18 and 21. That is outstanding. What is it? Not good score, outstanding. But if you cross a single digit, you should be very happy. And 15 and 20 also good enough. Now, shall we see the passage? What is this passage about? It is all about excuse me. It is all about Mahatma Gandhi's dream of achieving one politically or sovereign India, India with political freedom, and the other freedom from which dimension? Social and economic. But he could not see the second one, he could see the first one. So the entire passage is about equality, social justice, filling the gap between the haves and have-nots, egalitarian society. For what one has to do, is it renunciation or is it trusteeship? But the back end of the passage, the writer says the renunciation is not the solution. One has to go for, in the words of Mahatma Gandhi, one has to go for trusteeship. And based on that, a few questions. Out of 10 questions, I feel the second question is rather difficult to answer, a bit vague, but 9 questions should not be a problem. Shall I read out the first question? Select the most appropriate option to complete the given sentence. Gandhi aimed at what? So the very first paragraph, the first 2 or 3 lines talk about achieving one, political freedom, achieving or establishing a non-violent society, universal brotherhood, and based on that, what is the answer? Either 1 and 2 or 1, 2 and 3. Fifth option, 1, 2 and 3. This is an easy one, so please mark it. We'll see how many are easy, how many are difficult. Question number 2 is also easy. I've got this word many a time. What does it say? Egalitarianism means what? Please write the combination. Egalitarian society. I have given the combinations many a time. Still you write, you don't lose anything. Please write egalitarian society. Also write egalitarian principles. Also write egalitarian doctrine or ideology. Egalitarian doctrine or ideology. So what is the meaning of the word egalitarian? a belief that all are equal, equality. What is the first option here? Suppression. You cannot go for a negative word, it has to be a positive word. Social and political equality, hold that one. Violence, a negative word. Inequality, a negative word. Elitism. Please write the meaning of the word elite. What is the spelling? E-L-I-T-E. From this you get elitism. Write the meaning of the word elite or elite, both are right. Means the cream of a society. Cream, not the regular cream. Cream, C-R-E-A-M. Cream of a society. Also write the most intelligent people of a society. Cream here means what? The most intelligent people. Every society has got the best, and the best together we use the word elite class or elite group. If they rule the country, then we call it elitism. What is elitism? A rule by elite people. That is also not relevant. So what is the answer here? Egalitarianism means what? Social and political equality. But generally it goes with not political, put the word political in brackets, it goes more with social equality. I will try to do the passage a little fast. What is the reason? When we go to paragraphs, related 5 questions and close, I have to spend more time. And errors, not a problem. We can finish off within no time. Shall I read out the third question? In the context of the passage, which of the following statements is false? This is a little time-taking, not a little vague, not easy. I'll read out, you try to respond. The instinct of possession causes conflicts. True or not true? It is true. The instinct of possession cannot be rooted out completely. This is also true. Because the passage says it may come up in some other form. The writer has used the word guise, appearance. Option number 3, satisfaction of material needs cannot earn peace and progress. But the passage says quite opposite, public perception. He wants in the context of the passage. Conflicts between groups and classes are bound to arise. This is also true. What is the last option? Voluntary renunciation is the key. That is not right. The passage talks about 2 things. First, the passage talks about inequality, social equality, and what is the solution? First, he starts with voluntary renunciation. Then he says that is not the answer. Answer is what? Trusteeship. Trusteeship is different. Voluntary renunciation is different. So what is not correct here? The 5th option is the answer. The key says something else. Am I right? That's why I said there is a problem. But the answer is the 5th option, beyond any doubt. Based on the passage, what is the key? Is it renunciation or is it trusteeship? Trusteeship. The fag end of the passage talks about trusteeship. And renunciation means what? Giving up completely. And that is not a solution. Today, Gandhiji's words, he talked about establishing a trust based on the wealth one possesses or one has, and using that wealth for the welfare of the mankind or welfare of the society. Then we use the word trust, trusteeship. Today, if you take the corporate sector, they have this corporate social responsibility based on more or less this idea of contributing back to the society. But this is a different form at the individual level that goes with a company or a corporation. Shall I read out the next one? Which one of the following is the most similar in meaning to the word guise? What is the context here? You have to go to the second paragraph, the first sentence, I suppose. In the ultimate analysis, it is difficult, if not impossible, to say that the instinct to possess has been rooted out or that it will not reappear in an even worse form under a different guise. What do you understand? You cannot say that it has been ruled out. You cannot also say it will not appear in some form or worse form in some appearance when it appears. So perhaps it goes with appearance or it goes with surfacing. Surface means what? Appear. Now what are the options here? Illusion. Can you use the word illusion? Disappear. No. Appearance. Hold that one. Reprove. No. Trick. Not relevant. So what is the answer here? First one is rather easy. Second one is also, this is what? The question number. Second one easy. Third one, a little time taking. But fourth one, easy or difficult? Easy. Now we'll see question number 5. According to the passage, people ultimately overturn the form of a social order which is based on coercion and oppression. The passage talks about what? The present society is based on what? Coercion and oppression. And it talks about the change. Change, how is it possible? Through trusteeship. So according to the passage, people ultimately overturn the form a social order which, do you think the first option is right or wrong? It is absolutely right. Hold that one. Does satisfy the basic needs, not correct. Then the question of overturning doesn't come. Is based on conciliation and rapprochement, not reapproachment. I don't know. I'm not sure about the spelling. This is also not right. Is not congenial. Underline the word congenial. And write one combination first. Congenial atmosphere. Congenial atmosphere or congenial ambience. So what do you understand? Positive or negative? Congenial means positive. Please write. Suitable, appropriate, apt, encouraging. Congenial atmosphere means positive atmosphere. To the spiritual values of the people is brought about by foreign powers. Not correct. They're going to change the present system. The question is about, finally, they're going to change the present system. What is the present system? Hope you guys are listening. What is the present system? Is it based on egalitarian values or is it based on coercion and oppression? So, based on that, what is the answer? The first option is the answer. See, this passage and this closed test and also the questions based on paragraphs, they don't go with the regular candidates who depend on grammar knowledge. Certainly they can't reach. What is the reason? If you take this passage, it talks about ideal society. What is an ideal society? People are equal politically, socially and economically. And they use certain words like ideals, values, oppression, exploitation, egalitarian values and political entities, all these things. If you are exposed to similar articles, you can relate, you can answer effortlessly. You have read for the first time, then I would say this passage is a tough passage. Do you understand what I say? It all depends on your exposure to the context. Today, most of the papers are based on not your grammar knowledge, not based on how many passages you have done here. You must have done about 50 passages minimum or more than that. Imagine you haven't come across a similar passage. Does it help or it doesn't help? 50 passages not related to this one you have done, but this similar you haven't done. So does it help or it doesn't help? No use of doing 50 passages. So what I suggest, I've given the acronym SLEEPS. Do you remember? I give about 50 topics. Your priority should be first get exposed to those 50 topics. Then it becomes easy for you to relate to many passages you come across in the mock test and the actual exams. Otherwise, what happens? Every day you get a new topic. For today it is new and it stops there. Tomorrow you get another new topic. This knowledge doesn't help. Then what is the point in learning everything new every day? And finally it doesn't get accumulated. It doesn't take you to a higher level. Does it help? No. So you should have some idea about philosophy, religion. Remember, once we got a passage, values, Oriental culture, Occidental culture, all those things. Imagine you are not exposed to those articles, then very difficult to make out. One reason why, you may say, sir, we can make out. If you spend half an hour, you can make out. But how much time do you get in the exam? 7 or 8 minutes. Not easy. And this passage, a political science student, within no time he can grasp. A sociology student, within no time, will be able to grasp. You come under, I use the term layman. Layman means what? Layman, not a professional. For you, this is something new, then very difficult to comprehend. Now we'll move on to the next question. What is the question number 6? According to the passage, which of the following statements is not true? Underline not true. A social order based on truth and non-violence can help the achievement of maximum freedom for all. This is true. Here the question is not true. In establishing the social order of Gandhiji's pattern, the possibility of a conflict between different classes hardly exists. Once you establish the possibility of conflict hardly exists. That is egalitarian society. If you have any doubt, hold this one. It is difficult to change the mind of people towards property. Hold this also. In an egalitarian society, material satisfaction can be enjoyed only at the expense of others. Now, whether you understand other options or not, please remember, some of these are really difficult, comprehension point of view, but presence of mind fetches you the right answer. Now, let us assume one situation where you could not understand the first three options. You haven't understood. But fourth option, already you got the meaning, you know the meaning of the word egalitarian society. Is it positive or negative? Positive. But the clause says, in an egalitarian society, material satisfaction can be enjoyed only at the expense of others. At the expense of others, you enjoy something. Is it positive or negative? Negative. With that, you can discard this option. So, what is the answer based on that? Fourth option is the answer. What is the answer? Fourth option. Not true. It is not based on at the expense of others. That is a negative expression. The root cause of class conflict is possessive nature. That is true. Question number 7. In the context of the passage, what is meant by adoption of ideal of trusteeship? The entire passage is about Gandhiji's view of trusteeship. So, you should be able to answer this to equate peace and progress with material satisfaction. Is it right? No. Ideal for the benefit of the society. Hold this one, but he wants the exact meaning. The privileged class voluntarily renounces the possessive instincts. It is not right. Substitution of spiritual values by material values by those who live in the paradise of material satisfaction. This is also not right. Welfare of people looked after by the wealthy class. So, how do you define trusteeship? Welfare of people looked after by the wealthy class by establishing trusts. Very simple. So, what is the answer? Fifth option is the answer. This is rather easy. What can you infer from the phrase root out? There is a problem with the key regarding the answer of this particular question. Generally, root out, what do you think? Remove completely or destroy? The first option seems right. Something, destroy something. Instill something. Underline the word instill. Instill means to ingrain, to imbibe, to put inside. Generally, it goes with values, ideas, also fear. Instill fear in someone, but not relevant here. Find and remove something or someone. Hold that also. To flatten something, not relevant. Both 2 and 3. 2 is ruled out. 1 and 3 would have been okay. Now you have to decide between to destroy something, to find and remove something or someone. The literal meaning of root out, the third option, please make a note. The literal meaning, dictionary meaning of root out, same wording they have used, to find and remove something or someone. In this context, you find the problem, remove the problem. So, is it 1 or 3? Third option is the answer, not the first option. Please make a note. Third option, find and remove. What is the broad meaning of haves, have to yield place to the have-nots? Now, generally, if you take, as I said, this passage goes with political science students, and if you talk to any political science student, he talks about philosophy, ideologies, when it comes to ruling the people. And they talk about Karl Marx. Have you heard of Karl Marx? Marxism. So, all these people, communism, they talk about, they use two expressions. The society or the world is divided into two groups broadly. It's a bipolar world. Bipolar means what? Two distinct groups. Haves, have-nots. Haves means rich people. Have-nots, poor people. Now, the problem here, in the name of democracy, whatever we do, we are supposed to fill the gap, reduce the gap But unfortunately, because people are not highly qualified, they are not educated, what we see today in the name of democracy, the gap is widening. The rich are becoming richer, the poor are becoming poorer. Very unfortunate. So once you understand haves and have-nots, easy to answer this. Haves have to yield place to the have-nots. We'll see the options. Principles of Mahatma Gandhi needs to replace existing ones. Right or wrong? Foreign powers influencing decisions inside needs to be defeated, not relevant. Wealthy class have to renounce all their wealth. Seems right, hold that one. Wealthy people have to contribute for progress of society. This also seems right, hold that one. Elimination of possessive instinct, that is practically not possible. You have to decide between 3 and 4. As I said, renunciation is not the solution. Wealthy people have to contribute for progress of society. What is the answer here? The fourth option is the answer. Question number 10. Choose the most appropriate title for the passage. Generally, title, if you cannot understand, if you understand one shot, you know the title, there is no problem. But every time you cannot do that. Sometimes you get confused. My suggestion, always go to the introduction, then you can make out, or go to the conclusion. Based on the introduction, conclusion, you can get the title. That shouldn't be a problem. And try to take elimination approach, material values versus spiritual values. But the opening statement talks about a person or a thing. Person. Who is that person? Mahatma Gandhi. So here, does it talk about Mahatma Gandhi? It's a general statement. It could go with anyone. So not correct. Class conflicts in an egalitarian society. This is also a general statement, not related to Mahatma Gandhi. The Gandhiji's vision of social order. Hold this one, because the name is there. The renunciation of possessive nature, not correct. Political and social freedom, but this is again a general statement. The entire passage is based on one particular individual, his vision, his dream. So what is the answer based on that? The third option, the Gandhiji's vision of social order. How many of you have got this one right? Okay. Now that is the last one. I would like to know who has got 8 or 8 plus. Okay. 5 plus how many? That is also good enough, not an easy passage. Others, nothing to worry. Now we'll move on. Now you got to be very attentive. Now on you have to be attentive. If you are not attentive, it goes just like that. Okay. Now I'll read out the instructions, 11 to 15. In the mentioned questions, a paragraph is given. Fill the blank with the correct sentence from the options. So far you have seen words. Now what do you see? A sentence. But make a note, please write CAT model, regular. CAT aspirants, they don't find this surprising, they don't find it difficult. But bank aspirants, they find it rather difficult. What is the reason? This doesn't go with, see, when it comes to reading, there are 2 dimensions. One is a basic dimension, that is comprehension. When you read, you should be able to understand. That is the basic, first dimension. What is the second dimension? Analytical dimension. What is that? You read a piece of text, you understand the primary level, then you analyze the text. What is right, what is wrong, what is subjective, what is objective, what is critical, what is persuasive, you will be able to make out. That is higher level of comprehension. We call it analytical skill. Slowly banks are moving towards analytical reading skill. They want the candidates to have analytical reading skill. Hope you guys are listening attentively. In the past, before 16, it was all comprehension skill they would test. Read, understand, answer the questions. Now those days are gone. Now it is purely based on. If you see a question related to writer's views based on analytical ability, you see a question related to inference based on analytical ability, you see a question related to the title of the passage based on analysis, you see a question related to whether what is true, what is false, again based on analysis, not based on simple comprehension. So when it comes to questions related to higher level, there is only one way you can master. Is it interesting or boring? The way you're holding it, so it looks like, sir, please stop. No, at this stage you may not understand. It may be very boring and very difficult to follow. Please let me tell you, once you understand my words in the real sense and you try to do something about it, then you go to the higher level, then these become easy. As long as you don't understand or you assume you have understood, assumption, oh, he says, we know this already, or you don't try to change yourself, then it's going to be a problem. What is the reason? Here the models are not important. Today a lot of people talk about new patterns, new models. I don't respect, I don't consider. It is not a question of models or patterns, it's a question of the standards. Where are you? If you are at a particular level, these things don't matter. Exam doesn't matter, patterns don't matter, questions don't matter. You will be able to answer. But you will try to look at the papers from one particular level, you always look at models. Then what happens? Patterns. Today this pattern, imagine one paragraph, one blank, one sentence. Tomorrow you will come across one paragraph, two blanks, you have to select two sentences. What matters here? Your ability matters, not the model. Model is irrelevant. Please remember, if you take spot the errors, 2017 IBPS RRBPO, for the first time they gave multiple errors. A lot of students could not handle those questions. In fact, some of them, those who are good at English also, they told me, sir, we did not get enough time, we could answer only 3 questions out of 5. But here the point, imagine you're really good at English grammar. It doesn't matter, they ask you 1 error or 2 errors or 3 errors, does it matter? Does it make any difference? But you go with one mindset, what is it? Read the sentence, a short sentence, spot the error, and based on our favorite tenses, passive voice, indirect speech, then you get the shock of your life. Then it becomes a problem. But from day one, you try to go to the higher level and acquire the ability. All these models, they don't make a negative impact on you, and you don't experience that shock in the exam hall. Very simple. Now, whatever, as I said, these go with paragraphs, and you have to select the right sentence. We'll see how to do this first. Please write some tips that will help. First tip, understand the context. Please write, understand the context. Second one, first understand the context. Second, ask yourself, what is this about? What is this about? Next, try to catch or try to grasp key words. This is very important. Try to grasp key words used in the paragraph. Fourth tip, look for the continuity. Look for the continuity or coherence. What is the technical term? Coherence. Smooth flow should be there. Then it becomes very easy for you, should not be a problem. But all said and done, if you're not aware of this context, not easy. I hope I'm clear. What matters, there are two types of, two groups rather. One group, they are familiar, they can easily get. Second group, they are not familiar, they try all the 5 options, still they are not convinced. Element of doubt bothers them. That's not a good thing. I'll read out the first one, question number 11. Waste management can be done in 2 ways. What are the key words here? Please underline waste management. And 2 ways. What is the first one? One is through waste reduction, and 2 through recycling. So waste reduction, waste recycling, 2 ways. As such, the emission of greenhouse gas and other forms of pollutant will be reduced by a large percentage. Reusing and recycling, again the words have been repeated. Please underline, reusing and recycling of used items will also result in less production of new products, obviously. Now you have to take the elimination approach, 1, and you have to see which sentence goes with the context, obviously. Only 68% of the garbage generated in the country is collected. Is it relevant here? Does it talk about percentage of garbage generated? Mark it wrong. In this process, the solid, this process, which process has it been mentioned? So please reject. Please be attentive and listen very carefully. Here the paragraph doesn't talk about how much has been generated, so reject. In this process, previous sentence, it has to talk about some process. Does it talk about? In this process, the solid is converted into liquid state and liquid is converted into gas. No process has been mentioned. Mark it wrong. These products of treatment can then be used for the production of energy. These products of treatment, we'll see this one. But here he talks about the products or he talks about the process? Process. So here this option talks about products. Underline the word products and mark it wrong. With rapid urbanization, industrialization and an explosion in population in India, solid waste management will be a key. Hold that one. Don't outright, no outright rejection. What is the fifth option? Consistent waste reduction and recycling activities mean there will be less waste materials to be sent to landfills and incinerators. Does it go with the first sentence and the basic idea? What is the basic idea here? Waste management. So fifth option talks about what? How to manage waste. Here please underline waste reduction and recycling. Same keywords have been used. This is the third time. 3 times they have been used. So what is the answer based on that? But the problem here, there are 2 problems. One, it takes a lot of time, obviously. 5 options, each one is a sentence, not words. Then you have to cross-check every time. Second problem, you should know the meanings of all the words used in the sentences. Let me ask the question, what is the meaning of the word? Please underline the word landfills. What is the meaning of the word landfill? One meaning, as a noun, please write the meaning, a place where garbage is dumped. You take the garbage and waste to a particular place, you dump over there. That place is called landfill. They dig and they dump, landfill. As a verb also, the process, landfill. And what is the meaning of the word incinerators? Incinerators means using high temperatures to reduce the waste to ash. Incinerator. It is an apparatus for burning waste at high temperatures. I said out of 5, 3 are easy, 2 are rather difficult. 12th one is not easy. And there is a problem with the key. Climate change is going to have interesting implications on infrastructure sector. Please underline infrastructure. Now you should know what comes under infrastructure. To answer this, first you should know what comes under infrastructure. Roads, buildings, transport, power and water. All the 5, infrastructure. Now second sentence talks about what? Concrete have a lower albedo. Please write the meaning of that. It's a technical term. Albedo means the proportion or the percentage of the heat or temperature, radiation, heat or radiation reflected, heat or radiation reflected. Right, also you write reflective power, simple way, reflective power. But reflection of what? Heat or radiation. Concrete have a lower albedo, means what? They absorb or they reflect. Albedo means what? Reflection power. So lower means absorb more, obviously. They absorb more. In other words, they absorb a very high percentage. He has given the meaning of that. In other words, they absorb a very high percentage of the incoming radiation. Now in this is rather difficult because this goes with greenhouse effect. I think they have used that, it has been used. What is greenhouse effect? The carbon molecules trap heat and they don't release the heat. They trap and they hold. That is known as greenhouse effect. In that process, what happens? The temperatures rise, obviously. That is not good for the planet Earth. The snow caps melt, icebergs melt, and the water level of the oceans and seas, they rise. Okay? Now here, they absorb a very high percentage of the incoming radiation. The architectural fallacy, again a new word, please underline the word fallacy, means a wrong opinion or something wrong. Fallacy means a wrong opinion or something wrong, wrong notion, fallacy, a mistake of using glass along the exterior of high-rise buildings in tropical countries like India are creating a kind of greenhouse effect. Please underline greenhouse effect. That means what? They absorb heat and they don't release the heat. That is not good for the planet Earth, which are not very efficient in terms of energy consumption. Now you understand this talks about what? Absorption of radiation or heat, not releasing. One thing, crystal clear. Second, it goes with which sector? Infrastructure. Now based on that you have to see. With the summer getting warmer, the energy requirement for artificial cooling will see a rapid increase. Is it relevant here? Mark it wrong. The big cities are therefore termed as heat islands, but it doesn't talk about the cities. The first two sentences are general statements. Could happen anywhere, city or town or rarely village, so not correct. With proper architectural interventions, our infrastructures can be made more sustainable. Hold this one, but this goes with one particular specific sector. Which one is that? Architectural. Hold that one. Utilizing materials which can reflect back the heat rather than trapping it would be the way forward. This seems positive. This talks about the problem. What is the problem here? Trapping the heat, but future will be positive if we have different material which don't trap, they release. Hold that one. The demon was named climate change. Write the meaning of the word demon. Demon means ghost or evil. Ghost, spirit, spirit. Evil, also right, evil, something bad or negative. So based on that, what is the answer? Fourth option is the answer, but the key says something else. Don't consider the key. Shall I move on to the next one? This is what I talk about, contextual awareness. Now 13, what does it talk about? Interviewers do not measure knowledge in marks. Opening statement. Now what are the key words here? Measure knowledge, this is okay, interviewers, but marks. They don't measure knowledge in marks. That means they don't consider your marks at the time of the interview. That's what it means. Now, we don't know what comes next, but we'll see. Scoring 75% or 100% in an exam is irrelevant in an interview if you cannot answer questions on the subject, obviously. That is a problem today we have in our country, exactly. People say, I have 90%, 95%. Tell us about yourself, nothing comes out. They cannot answer properly. It is not their mistake. The system is like that. We should always look at the system, not the individuals, and we should try to change the system. Then individuals automatically change. Besides subject knowledge, there is another kind of knowledge which matters in interviews. Every interviewer assesses our personality as we answer questions. So interviewing is about what? You're assessing your personality. Besides subject knowledge, your personality. Our attitude is what finally gets the job. So what is this personality? The right attitude and right skill set, obviously. Now we'll see the options. The passage is about what? Marks are not important. It is something else important. What is it? One word, attitude. That matters a lot. Attitude is a third and perhaps the most important quality needed in winning a job. But what is the second? One is marks. If you say third, then where is the second? Is it right or wrong? Mark it wrong. That is the knowledge about the organization you have applied to. Attitude is about you, how you look at others, how you look at yourself, how you look at the society. So not correct. Marks count only in exams. Hold this one. The second quality that organizations look for is the skills needed to do the job well, but mentioned anywhere. No. First, if they mention the first, then they can use the second. But what is the first sentence here? Interviewers do not measure knowledge in marks. The second quality, can you use the second here without using the first? What is the last option? Knowledge is essential while skills are desirable. That also seems right. That is a valid statement. Knowledge is essential while skills are desirable. A very good statement. But in this context, the context starts with what? Marks are not important at the time of the interview. What is important? Your personality, your attitude, these matter a lot. So if you go with the line of thought, you have to use the word marks. So which option talks about marks? Third option is the answer. Marks count only in exams. They don't count at the time of the interview. This is rather easy, should not be a problem. Third option is the answer. Question number 14, assessment is extremely important, but it should happen continuously using a wide range of tools to gauge the varied strengths and skills of individual students. Class participation, presentations, essays, spot quizzes, interviews, peer assessment. Please underline the word peer. What is the meaning? You have got many a time. People of the same level, same age group, same position. Please write the meaning. Peers means of the same age group, same position. Peer assessment and assignment should all contribute to the final report. There are many vital intangibles, underline the word intangibles, that cannot be tested or measured. What is the meaning of the word tangible? Something that can be seen or touched. What is the opposite word? Intangible. Cannot be seen, cannot be touched. What are the other words for tangible, intangible? Concrete, abstract. Concrete, tangible. Abstract, intangible. So far it is clear, he talks about holistic approach. When you touch the various dimensions, what is it called? Holistic approach. Only creative, innovative and urgent intervention to develop meaningful and humane ways of assessing school students will stop damaging their natural talents and nurture them instead. Underline the word nurture. Nurture means what? To take care of, especially it goes with children and animals. While growing, you take care of them, then we use the word nurture. To bring up, write the expression, bring up. Nurture means what? To bring up. Context is very clear, then we will see the options. Let not one single mass examination determine the future of a child. Is it right or wrong? Now the passage talks about what? The various dimensions, yes or no, and holistic approach. The first option talks about let not one single mass examination determine the future of a child. Now present system is what? They touch all the dimensions or they decide on the basis of one single exam? One mass exam, obviously. Hold that one. The grading system in examinations has reduced the scoring pressure of students. Is it relevant here? No. We'll take the elimination approach. All said and done, our examination system is an unmitigated disaster. Already I've got the word mitigate, reduce, unmitigated disaster, and our approach to educational reform has been somewhat erratic. Does it go with this passage? No. Education does not get the attention and funding that it deserves. It doesn't talk about funding, not correct. Most of our problems stem from the lack of education or from a faulty one. Now, it is either the first option or the fifth option. But does it talk about the present system of one exam based on that what is good, what is bad? Or does it talk about our perception towards educational system? Most of our problems stem from the lack of education or from a faulty one. But it doesn't go with the fifth option. What is the answer based on that? The first option is the answer. That goes with the existing system and it goes with the paragraph. You cannot decide today, this is a problem. Someone gets 95%, especially students of Narayana and Chaitanya schools and colleges. What is your percentage? 96, 97, 98. The parents are not happy if the student gets a 98. They're very unhappy. Why? He or she hasn't got 99. Someone else has got 99. What? It doesn't make any sense. But imagine a student who gets 99% should be brilliant, outstanding, or should be average, outstanding, and unimaginable. But when you talk to these kids, or when they go to IITs or somewhere, they don't excel. What is the reason? They are good at only the academic knowledge from a particular pattern. They don't have the complete personality, and they don't have the real outlook which goes with developing a sound or holistic personality. That is a drawback. He talks about the same thing. Today, our education, it tests the knowledge. One exam, your knowledge is tested, which is not correct, and that will definitely affect the self-esteem of the child. Shall I move on to the next one? What is the last? This is the last one, am I right? This is also easy, provided you know the context. There is one word, if you understand, then you can make out. In the urban centers, crowd jostles for space. Please underline the word jostle. Jostle means what? Push each other, push one another. First you write the word push. If you go to the top heroes movie, the first day, first show, what will happen? You get jostled, people push. And write one more word, elbow, elbow. Elbow is this part. As a noun, elbow you know, but when you do like this, it is like pushing, okay? Now, in the urban centers, crowd jostles for space, and the development of housing cannot keep pace with the rate of the influx. This is a very good word, please write. Influx means a lot of people entering a particular place, usually a city. A lot of people or things, but generally it goes with people. A lot of people entering a particular city. If you take Hyderabad, on an average, 2,000 people enter this city, it seems. That I'm talking about 80s information. Now the number could be about 3,000. So there's an influx of people to the city. Means what? A lot of people enter the city, resulting in proliferation. Underline the word proliferation. This is also a good word. Proliferate means what? Multiply. Please write the meaning. Multiply. Multiply rapidly. Proliferation of cells, cancer cells, means what? Cancer cells multiply rapidly. But here proliferation of what? Slums. In a city, a lot of people come, they don't have the house, then where do they go? Or where do they live? You see small, small huts and a huge, say about 200 or 300 huts at one place. What is the word for that? Slum, slum area. Lack of access to sanitation, water, drainage, and other basic necessities leads to diseases and occasional spread of epidemics. Underline the word epidemics. What is an epidemic disease and what is an endemic disease? Epidemic means widespread. Endemic, restricted to one area. Now context is clear. What does it talk about? Space, limited space, more people. Everyone knows what disastrous consequences have emerged from the present expansion of population. Hold that one. Resources are needed for launching and implementing effective programs. Am I right? Expansion of population is leading to scarcity of food, potable water. Please underline potable. If the food is, you can eat the food, what is the word? Edible. Please first write the word edible. Edible means food that can be had. Then you write the word potable. Potable means what? Water that can be had. No agency either at the center or state comes forward with a positive declaration, not related to the second sentence. Continuing and unchecked growth of population is the most urgent problem. Now what do you think? In the urban centers, crowd jostles for space. Now underline the word jostles for space. also urban centers. These are the key words. Does it talk about, first option talks about what? Expansion of population. Are they related? You have to respond. Resources are needed for launching and implementing effective programs. This is also not correct. Expansion of population is leading to scarcity of food and potable water, and it causes enormous migration from rural areas to towns and cities. Hold the third option. Now it talks about what? One is, please underline, expansion of population is leading to scarcity of food and potable water. That is one thing. And it causes enormous migration from rural areas to towns and cities. When people migrate from towns and rural areas and towns to cities, what will happen? More people, and more people, what is the net result? Pushing one another or no pushing? That means third option is right or wrong? So answer is the third option. Line of thought, continuity. Someone has said fifth option. What is the fifth option? Continuing and unchecked growth of population is the most urgent problem. We'll start with that. In the urban centers, crowd jostles for space, and the development of housing cannot keep pace with the rate of influx. Here, you cannot consider the fifth option. What is the reason? If you look at the remaining sentences, he talks about migration first. Then he talks about the impact of migration, people pushing one another. Then he talks about this, the city, if you take the infrastructure of the city, one of the dimensions is what? Housing. Housing cannot keep pace with the rate of influx, resulting in proliferation of slums. Now, when people come from outside, what is the word for that? Influx. Now, if you take the fifth option, does it talk about that? No. So, here there is a line of thought. From first, he talks about scarcity of food and potable water in villages, then based on that migration to cities, based on that jostling, and all these resources become scarce, and what has to be done. And the impact of that is proliferation of slums related. Has anyone got all the five correct? That is impossible. If someone says, I got all the five, and we have to give that student a standing ovation. Okay, but I don't think. Please remember, it all depends on your clever thinking at the time of the exam. First, you have to decide how much time do they take. Is it worth attempting these questions? And do I have the ability? Once I attempt, out of 5, how many can I get? Your gut feeling. 3, then go for those questions. But 1 or 2, I don't think you should give it a try. You should touch other questions. Now we'll see the next 5 questions, what do they deal with? 5 or 10? I'll give you the choice. Shall I read out questions related to close, or shall I go to spot the errors? Spot the errors? Please go to spot the errors. Because here you have to write about 40 words. I have brought almost 40 words related to the close test. And almost all, 50% I would say, not the regular words and not easy to remember. First we'll finish off spot the errors. How many questions have we done so far? And there is no heading, unfortunately. 2 problems. 1, the word after the blank, you don't see the word, and close test related, 1 problem. And here no heading, nothing, but you can easily make out. 26 to 30, they deal with what? Spot the errors. In the name of revamping the law, please underline the word revamp, restructure, bring back the old glory, improve. All these words could be written. In the name of revamping the law, investigation and trial should not be altered in a way that undermines. Undermine means what? Degrade, bring down, erode, or bring down the standards, the principles on which the justice system was founded. You see any error here? But that is not easy. You have to take a phrase or clause. We'll see. In the name of revamping the law, investigation and trial, or in the name of revamping the law, pause, investigation and trial should not be altered, no problem, in a way that undermines, no problem, the principles on which the justice system was founded. There is no error. So what is the answer? Fifth option is the answer. Don't ask me which option. The 27th one. It is no secret that since the 2008 financial crisis, the global economy have been propped up. Now, shall I continue or shall I stop? Where is the error? Underline the global economy. You should, if you are ready for the exam, the moment you see the global economy have been propped up, you should not read further, cross-check. It is no secret that since the 2008 financial crisis, the global economy, subject is global economy, and common sense have or has. So what is this about subject-verb agreement? Make a note. In the clause, now 28, the absence of substantial structural reforms, the absence of what? Always ask questions. The absence of what? Of substantial structural reforms. Any error? For what purpose? To complement. Here complement means what? Complete. To complement central bank stimulus measures has been, hold that one, another feature of the present global economic recovery. Now, how do you look at this sentence? Please put a star mark. Someone has said has been, am I right? Someone has said have been, am I right? That is not right. What is the reason? This is the reason why I keep saying, please learn something about phrases, clauses. Now she knows my wording. Before I say, she says that. You have to have some awareness related to phrases and clauses, and you should know how to read the sentence when you come across a lengthy sentence. Now, this is a lengthy sentence and a not familiar context. The absence, what is the subject here? Please underline the absence and write subject. And what do you see after the word absence? Of substantial structural reforms to complement central bank stimulus measures. Where is the verb? Do you see any verb here? So you have to put all these words in brackets. Now you have to ask yourself, what is the subject, what is the verb? The absence has been another feature. Whatever you see in brackets, not important. What has been another feature? The absence of something has been another feature. So the absence has been another feature of the present global economic recovery. Do you find any error? So what is the answer based on that? Fifth option, no error. This is very difficult. 90% I would say candidates, how they read the sentence, because it's a little complicated, they don't focus on absence, they focus on measures. And they are damn sure measures, has is not correct, it should be no, not correct. So what is the answer? Fifth option, no error. Such a recovery comes with the inherent risk of being derailed whenever easy monetary condition that fueled it cease to exist. Are you guys listening? I'm struggling to read out and you're not responding. Today it has been quite hot. I think the temperature could be 46 or 47. I'm not quite sure, but really hot. So such a recovery comes with, please underline, such a recovery comes with what? The inherent risk of being derailed whenever easy monetary condition. What is this easy monetary condition that fueled it ceases to exist or cease to exist? So here, please underline easy monetary condition. Then put which easy monetary condition that fueled it. That is not important. That's a clause. Now you have to read easy monetary condition cease to exist or ceases to exist. So where is the error? Cease is not correct. Change it to ceases to exist. This is rather difficult. I don't say it is easy, but if you get it right, It shows that you are at a different level. Not easy. Please remember, I say something is easy, something is difficult, not from your point of view, not from my point of view. At the national level, looking at the average candidate, his or her standards, easy, not easy. And if you belong to that average, will you get selected or you won't get selected? Won't get selected. You have to be above average. Very simple. Now we'll see the next one. What is the question number? 30, am I right? According to the IMF's January update of the World Economic Outlook, according to what? The IMF's January update of the World Economic Outlook, any error? The global economy is all set, any error? Is all set to do what? To clock its best growth rate in 7 years. In 2018, is set to clock its best growth rate in 7 years in 2018, following a pickup since mid-2016. Do you find any error? How many of you have chosen the fifth option? No error. That's right. As I said, 5 you cannot get right, but 2 or 3 should not be a problem. And surprisingly, out of 5, 3 are no error, only 2 with errors. Again, you get the doubt. Will they give 5 out of 5, 3 without errors? Please don't go that way, don't think that way. Now we'll see this closed, but it's already 3 o'clock. What do you want me to do? 5 past 3 or 2 past 3, to be very specific? What is tomorrow's paper? Have you got tomorrow's paper? Number, tell the number. Because there are 40 words, I had to spend, frankly speaking, I had to learn about 10 words. Not easy words, I had to spend a lot of time. I don't want to skip this one. 40 words worth learning, but these students might not have seen this particular passage. We'll do one thing, we'll continue tomorrow. First we'll start with close. Please bring the paper, don't forget. And after that we'll see tomorrow's paper. And 40, I will try to, today I have written and I have brought, but that would be a little tedious for you to listen and write. So what I will do, I will type, I will design, then you can have a look and write quickly, or you can take a pick. That saves our time. 10 or 15 minutes we can finish off the close. Is that okay? So I'd like to stop here. Thank you very much.